What is up, everybody? Lawler here for another Rocket League news video. Today's going to be focused on Europe and its power rankings. We're trying to focus on the top 10 in Europe, and we'll see how it plays out. But before we do that, as always, if you guys enjoy the content, first and foremost, make sure you guys give it a thumbs up, as well as making sure to hit subscribe and turning on notifications so you don't miss out on any of the videos. And if you guys want to support me directly, easiest way to do so, down in the description below, you can find all these social medias linked. Make sure you guys go give those a like and a follow if you could be so kind. So if you guys didn't see it on my video on Friday, which you can see linked probably somewhere up top here, we did the North American power rankings, a little bit of a meme pick at the end, and it's always going to be exciting to see how things play out. I'm actually pre-recording a lot of these videos because I'm trying to go up north for the weekend to get away and relax and stuff because it's just been so busy, which I cannot thank you guys enough for the continued support that you guys have been showing. But what I'm actually trying to do is I'm trying to record these videos ahead of time and kind of see how things play out so then we can make adjustments week in and week out. There is the talk show on Mondays, which is actually going on today. So if this video comes out on Monday like I planned it to, at 2:30 Eastern today on Monday, ESPN Esports is going to be doing a talk show where I will be trying to defend my North America power rankings, which should be fun. So with that said, there is going to be a lot of things that are going to end up happening when it comes to how things play out, and with all the different matches from the grid and RLCS X in the field, it's kind of difficult to actually stay up to date with who's the best performers right now. So I figured, why not once a week, let's do some power rankings. So we're going to do that today for Europe. We're going to go from top to bottom. I'm going to talk about my thoughts, why teams I think deserve where. And the scary thing is, because I'm pre-recording these, some results may happen before I'm able to get to them. But that's the exciting part. Bold statements. We'll see how it goes and if I'm wrong. But no big deal. We'll make some more bold statements next week. And we'll keep it going. Either way, you guys are going to know where I think these teams stand on a week-to-week basis. So it makes it easier for you guys to update as well, because I'll be able to break down and talk and explain about why I think the teams are where they are based upon results. Because I don't want to just do it like recency bias, like, hey, this team won, so they're clearly the best. Like, it's not how it works. You got to show me consistently over weeks, which we get a lot of weeks to look at matches. So again, let's jump right into it. I think you guys already know who number one is. It's a pretty straightforward answer. I talk about them too much. It's Vitality. Even though Vitality has recently lost, I think they took 8th place in the grid on Thursday. I still think you need to perform consistently to knock them off that pedestal. I think every single team in Europe, realistically, when they go up against Vitality, is a little bit nervous. They know the capability and the talent of this team, and until someone can show that they can be beaten consistently, Vitality is always going to be the number one dog. And they're even scarier on a LAN performance. So I do feel that this is a team that people cannot take lightly. And I think I actually deleted some words there. I'll have to check after I highlight it. But Vitality is a very dangerous roster to have to play against. And I do feel that people need to continue to respect their position, even if they do have an off day. I am recording this personally before we get the results from RLCS X, because we've got stage 2 in the playoffs to still go through. So I'm curious to see if Vitality is able to literally bounce back 2 days after their bad performance. I did see how Ferry tweeted out that Alpha wasn't feeling well and was under the weather. So don't know how much of a role and effect that'll have coming the matches on Saturday and Sunday. But again, Vitality, easy and clear number one. They're really freaking good. Next up, which may come to a surprise, is the other French squad, one of the billion, is Oxygen. I think Oxygen is a team that we knew had a ton of potential. We just didn't know when we were going to get it. Oxygen has definitely had some ups and downs with their results, but the fact that they're able to bounce back so quickly, and I'm talking the difference between stage 1 in RLCS X and then comparing it to the grid, as well as some of their offseason results, they have been a team that has been in talks that consistently has shown performances towards the top. Even with the new roster, I think Astro fits in well. You are seeing a much better performing Farah, and I do think their skill ceiling is unbelievably talented. So I do feel Oxygen does nod themselves into the top spot. I had some other teams that I had to drop down due to recent performances, but Oxygen is a team that I think is super talented and winning matches like significantly. Right now, if I think about it, I haven't looked at it in a while. Oxygen found themselves in, I think, either the semi or the quarterfinals. I think it's the semifinals of the playoffs for the grid. So they're continuing to trend in the right direction. I think they got a really tough matchup going up next that I kind of want to watch, but again, Oxygen, super talented team. I do consider them to be top 2. And it's without a doubt, obviously, like to me, it's so obvious as to why Oxygen is in the top 2. Like Astral, Farah, and Shazette. Shazette pops off. They can't be beat. He can 1v3 kids. Astral will pass and style on you whenever he needs to. Farah is now working into rotation and playing super aggressive on offense. One of the best captains in all of Rocket League. Like, Oxygen's a super talented roster, and their results are finally starting to show that. Number 3 on the list, Dignitas. So this one was kind of tough, and I'll admit, 3 through the rest of this list, I interchanged and swapped around a lot. Dignitas to me has moments where they look like one of the best teams in Europe. Lockdown defense, nobody can score on them. Phenomenal pass play in the midfield. Overwhelming pressure on offense. Can attack from every single angle. And my biggest question coming in is, how is their new stud and Yoris going to be the one to show that confidence and prove that he can play at an RLCS level? And as time progresses, they're going to get there. Right now, I think Dignitas is still a solid team with solid performances. And even though some of these guys are getting knocked out in the grid, I do feel when it matters most, they're going to keep transitioning into the right place. Until teams beat them consistently, and that's always going to be my number 1 qualifier. Can you beat them over and over again? Even with the new rosters, they're still putting up big performances and winning against high-profile teams. But until you do that consistently, and a team like, for example, Giants, which we'll get to soon, until Giants shows that they can keep getting a top 4 or top 5 performance in multiple tournaments, I can't put them in that high level. So Dignitas right now is kind of one that I think is still there, kind of in that 3, 4, 5 spot. But a lot of these are going to be interchangeable. But I do think Dignitas is a very talented team. And part of that reason why is the way they work the field. Communication is still there. And they're playing well. I think Yukio, more than anybody, is looking a lot more comfortable on this new team. And it might be due to the chemistry clash that he had with Astral, with the kind of abrasiveness that they had towards each other that we saw in comm videos. But overall, I think Dignitas is trending in a good direction. And again, they're going to mold a brand new talent and show, as Verge says, that their system works. Next up, number 4 spot is going to be Team BDS. These are my boys. As much as I hate their name and their branding, talking to you, Mark by 8, this is a team I'm very keen on. You guys should know I'm a huge fan of how they play, where they're trending, and the results that back it. I think this is a team without a doubt that will find themselves in talks every tournament towards the top. This, to me, already a year out, is almost a guaranteed land team. I think Extra performed a little bit under than what was expected today in the grid as I'm recording this video, but that doesn't mean he's going to perform bad again this weekend. I think Team BDS is a team that people need to be aware of. I'm going to keep talking about it until I'm proven completely wrong, but this is a very talented roster. They're going to be very strong and one that everybody has to fight for wins against. Next up is going to be Endpoint. Metsinaris. I cannot speak enough about this boy and what he has done for this team. Relating Wave locks it down on defense. Stellar defense. Metsinaris and Virtuoso work as a tandem in some capacity, whether it be Virtuoso demoing everybody, setting up pass plays to the midfield, whatever it is. And then Relating Wave, if he needs to be that third in rotation where he needs to get on offense or defense, he does it. He's open for a pass. But they are crushing it in the grid right now. I really want to go watch the matches alongside Oxygen, but like, Endpoint is slowly going to be that team climbing. Heck, I could even put them above Dignitas right now, depending on if they keep it up. But again, I think this weekend's performance is going to be very telling of this. And I want to reiterate, I'm seeing this before watching RLCS X this weekend. But again, I think all these rosters here can be interchanged in some capacity. Endpoint, I think, is leading more towards the top than Dignitas and BDS. But that's only because of recency bias of what I'm watching right now, and I need them to do it consistently. And that's the hardest part about these ratings, is I want to make sure that it's not just, this is the team that performed the best week, they're the best. It needs to be something that I see week after week, and the results back it. So Endpoint, ascending. They're getting there. They're so close to breaking top 4. I'm looking forward to it. Number 6 is going to be Liquid. Now, a lot of people, when I came into the season and this offseason, thought Liquid could be very talented. I thought Fruity was a great addition. But they've been stumbling. A lot of missed opportunities on offense. Shots have just been inaccurate, looking a little sluggish. Cookser's had moments here and there, and there's definitely almost too much respect that they're showing to some of the teams. But overall, Team Liquid's results lately have not been good. They get some solid performances here and there, but then when it comes up against these notable teams, they just drop. So Team Liquid, I know you need to figure some stuff out. I don't want to go into the specifics of that, but from when I last watched them and from what I got today, it was a little bit more of the same feeling. A little bit forced, a little bit rushed, not on the same page. And it's going to take some time to figure that out. I think there definitely needs to be a mentality shift. I think this team desperately needs a coach. And even though I would love the job, I don't have time for it anyway. So I do think Team Liquid needs some help in some capacity from a fresh perspective that the players respect, that is willing to be like, okay, let's try something different because what we're doing is not working right now. And maybe it's just that's exactly what they're doing. They're trying to figure out something new and it hasn't really hit yet. We'll see. But Team Liquid's still a very talented team, has gotten some notable wins, but they are transitioning into the lower half. So need to be careful on that. We'll keep an eye on them. Number 7 is going to be Giants Gaming, former RCD Espanol. These boys have been on a tear, winning and destroying everything in their path. Consistent results are there, and they are taking a big jump in what was previously a rival series team to be top 7 of the RLCS right now. In my opinion, is a very big deal. So Giants Gaming, even though you may see this and look at 7th, I want you to be proud of where you are. Your results are speaking for themselves. You guys are top 4 in the grid right now. Be proud of that. Continue to show those results, and you will most definitely step up. I can tell you next week, Giants is probably going to be up if they perform like they are right now in the RLCS X matches. So keep an eye on that. Giants Gaming, very talented team as well. Number 8 is going to be Top Blokes. No longer with Freaky. This is now with Archie. This is a team that is also getting a lot of notable results, but still need to convincingly do it against the big dogs. These 3, I had a really hard time with trying to figure out where I wanted them to go, primarily because Giants and Top Blokes have been winning a lot of games like most recently. If you look at the grid and how they've performed, I see that the results are very strong in the top 8 kind of sense, which is why I have them there, but I still need to see more notable wins against notable rosters. They have a couple matches where I'm like, okay, yeah, I kind of expect you to win that, but I need you to perform against the Vitalities and the Oxygens until I can get a true grasp of how talented you guys are, because I know what it looks like when Dignitas goes against Vitality. I know what it looks like when Endpoint goes against Vitality. I need to see it consistently across the board in regular results. I do think Archie, and as you guys know, I'm a huge fan of Archie's playstyle. I think he's a great fit. I feel like him and Flame are a little bit too similar, but I think their bracket in the grid kind of benefited them a little bit. And I'm curious to see on how that transitions. So another team to keep your big eye on for RLCS this weekend. Even though this video comes out on Monday, I'm talking about this on Thursday. So Blokes is an interesting one. I do think they're kind of finding that foundation of what they want to build upon. But still some things left to be desired. Either way, I think, and this is a blanket statement, almost every team in Europe right now that's in this top 10, you have to fight for wins against. Teams are getting really good. Next up, number 9 is going to be Guild Esports. This is previously the Team Singularity roster with Though and Nolly. They're adding in Coach Gregan as well as Scrubkilla to the roster. This is a team that has been back and forth. Not the best results, but consistently in the top 10, top 15. They'll put up a fight. I still think this team cohesively just does not gel well. Scrub hasn't really fit in yet. I think Though and Nolly get along really well together, and we've seen that in 2s as well for like Fusion. But for some reason, Scrub just doesn't seem to fit as well as I think he could. When he plays overly aggressive and he kind of just bullies out one of his teammates and he leads the charge, the other 2 kind of fall back and then they just kind of cycle through and it looks better. But I want that to be defined. I don't know if it's just because they're trying to figure out how they want to work together. But another team that, again, has a lot of talent, like a lot of talent on the roster. And last but not least on the list is Team Singularity. May have looked like I've done this on purpose, but this is another team that I haven't seen enough of. This is an extremely newly formed team. As I look at Liquipedia, they've been together since the 26th of last month. So there's just not enough to give these guys a nod yet, but they are starting to ascend, looking really good in the grid. They're a team that wasn't even supposed to be in the grid. The reason why they got the grid spot is because they ended up qualifying. Libertas was already in there from the RLCS X qualifiers. Singularity took 2nd. They get a top 16 spot, even though being a brand new roster, and they look good. Smilla, Breezy, and Hibbs have been playing extremely well. They did a great job in the grid in the matches that I casted against the Monkeys, where they just basically suffocated them. So I think the Singularity team, even though they're newly formed, is pretty talented. And I guess biggest credit to Smilla, even though people kind of said he was the weakest link on the team, he's proven that he can fit in and have a really big impact on a lot of these rosters. So that is my top 10. So this is kind of a whoopsie and saved towards the end of the video. If you guys can tell, something is different. Barcelona has been slotted in and people have been shifted down. While I was recording my video for Monday, as I'm trying to get stuff ahead of time so I can get the stuff ready to go so I can go up north and kind of relax for the weekend. It totally spaced that Barcelona wasn't in this. And Barcelona is most definitely a top 10 team in Europe right now. So with that said, with the way that this season is playing out, there is so much a difference to how teams need to approach this They have never played this many games on one day with the Swiss style. I think that benefits certain teams compared to others. Swiss is the format for the fall split, and how that's going to affect and what teams are going to perform better in that compared to the winter split where they have a different format is going to change. And I think Barcelona is a team that definitely benefits from it. Being able to play multiple games, a team that has in the past always kind of gone to the distance where they're like super close in game 5 and then they throw it, may benefit a team to bounce back and kind of get those reps in. Barcelona had a really good performance in stage 1 of RLCS X. Not the best in the grid, but again, there's a lot of matches throughout the week. This is the first time that we're seeing this many tournaments and everything else going on. So I think this is a really exciting moment. I do apologize for getting Barcelona initially, but I'm glad we remembered while recording another video and threw them in here. Otherwise, I'm sure the comments would have been like, Lawler, what the heck? And I'm just going to pretend that I meant to do this to bamboozle all of you. But either way, Barcelona, I think, has been looking better than Liquid. Liquid's been looking weird, and we shift everybody down. Same thing as apply. I think Giants is going to move up. I think a lot of these teams are going to kind of shuffle through as we get more results across the weeks. That is going to do it for the power rankings for Europe. I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say. Drop your results and what you guys have down below, and I'll be interested to hear what those are as we compare. Also, notable shoutouts: Triple Trouble, Chalked, Solary, Libertas, and Monkeys. All teams that could be in consideration as they kind of round it out. But again, a lot of exciting matches coming forward here in the region, and I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say. With that said, if you guys enjoy the content, as always, make sure you guys give it a like, as well as make sure to hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on the best Rocket League news content on YouTube. That is going to do it for me, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. We'll catch you next time. Peace.